Hi everyone. So I've actually just finished recording my third writer's tip, and that was all about how to differentiate yourself as a writer, how to see things from different perspective and things like that. So I thought actually it would be quite cool to look at it from the perspective of a brand or a business. You might not have a writer who can do that. You might not have a writer who's offering you suggestions. You may need to come up with the content ideas yourself. So you need to have a way that you can write unique content with which is in the same industry as your competitors without being the same as your competitors. You want to stand out. You don't want to write the same thing because then it would be pointless and then you're wasting your money. So I'm going to talk about a few ways you can differentiate yourself and still write unique content, even if you've got such a little fine niche that there's not a lot of things to write about. Pens, for example. You can only write so much about pens. So here are my tips, and the first one is add in your own products and services. Even if you're selling pens, there's going to be something about your product that's different. Otherwise, why would you be selling it? So look at your marketing, look at the key ways that you are promoting your products and marketing them, and weave that into your content. It could be the colour, it could be the style, it could be anything else. Now make sure that you include that, because that's one of the ways that your products and services, I'm going to put the pen down, are going to be unique. So that's the first one, and I mean that's really easy because you just basically need to be yourself. The second one is your tone of voice. Now as a brand it can be hard, especially if you're not one person writing, you're a team, and the easiest way to do this is to set guidelines. Decide on a tone and stick to it, because then it becomes memorable and people start to recognise it. Don't jump between the two. It's okay to have a business tone or be more formal, but it's not okay to be formal one day and then quirky and happy the next. You need to have a set tone and stick to it, and then it starts to become unique because it starts to become your own, and then make sure everyone in your team can read it. The third tip is to avoid the obvious. Now, taking the pen example again, everyone knows the benefits of a pen, and your competitors have probably already written about it, and if they haven't, there's probably a good reason why. I mean, don't go for the glaringly obvious, here are the benefits of all my products. I mean, you can do that as like a filler post, but don't waste time and resources, putting loads of content out to do with it, because it's just a bit pointless really, unless you have a product that people haven't heard of before, then it's different. But if you're marketing a product that's similar to others in the industry, don't bother. If you have benefits that others don't, yes, 100%, but don't go for glaringly obvious titles that people have written 1,000 times before, because no matter how good your writers are, I mean, it's not going to make you stand out. The last one, and possibly the most important, is draw on real life, because if you're writing about your product and a customer's used it, for good or bad, they might say there's a problem with it, and so it's something you need to solve, or they might say it's helped them in this particular way. Chances are you'll get more information from your real life experience or from their real life experience than you would get from someone doing research online. If you research online, everyone is using the same information, but if you take it from real life, that's unique. Only you or your clients or your customers have gone through it. So that's probably the last one, is if you have any examples of your own, if you use the product yourself, that's probably going to help a lot. And if you don't, maybe you should start, and then you can see it from a better perspective, and then being able to write about it would be better. You can pass on your notes to your team, pass it on to your writer, and they'll be able to work with it and they'll be able to weave that in. So yeah, the 4, and I've got it on a sticky note here just so I remember. The 4 to remember are: add your own products and services, your own tone of voice, avoid the obvious, and draw on real life examples. That way you're going to be able to stay unique, even if you're in a competitive industry and even if you're in a niche that's really hard to get out of. So those are the tips, and I'll speak to you next week. Okay, bye.